HBCUs.
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 HBCU.
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 HBCUs.
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 What is that?
Media such as like sitcoms, reality shows, and like press releases affect your perception of HBCUs?
I would say yeah, like watching like A Different World and like some movies like Drumline, all that good stuff. Like that's really not for me.
I always talk about the Cosby Show and how he talks about Hillman and how it's a representation of Morehouse and Spelman and different HBCUs as a whole. And I always go like, man, if I can go to a school like that, it looks like the best school in the world.
I mean, you know, watching College Hill, you know, to be completely honest, before my junior year in high school, I did not want to go to an HBCU. I was like, no, I'm not going to HBCU because I see on College Hill, oh, it's nothing but partying, man. Nobody getting it done. I mean, if I go there, I'm be, dumb. I'm not gonna learn anything.
Being from California, I didn't know much about HBCUs at all. I remember Hillman from A Different World. I remember Stomp the Yard, I remember Drumline, but it still didn't do much for me. It didn't really make me want to come here. But one thing I did know was it must have been a lot of fun to come here. That's all I really knew about it.
I don't really see anything about majority black schools at all in the media.
What about films like Stomp the Yard and stuff like that?
I think Stomp the Yard is a horrible imitation of school days.
As far as the media goes, I can say I don't really get into that because I've had my HBCU experience.
I'm sure like maybe some other people you interviewed, A Different World played a key role in me choosing to attend HBCU school. It's like, oh, wait a minute, all these black people go to one school together, and where the white people at?
I know my parents loved me, stand behind me come what may. I know now that I'm ready, yeah. Why don't you take that to God? Why don't you take that to
God? What are they doing?
They're stomping the yard. Where are you from?
On step.
A battle. 7 years. We own this. We own you. You don't mess with me.
Get your hands off me, dog.
He's the head of Mu Gam, national step champs.
So somebody's gonna have to bring him down a notch.
Stop the yard.
I would say very inaccurate, actually.
I would say it's not very accurate.
I mean, the social life, I think it's pretty accurate. I mean, it's a lot of parties. If you ever watch, I guess, Stomp the Yard and other movies, there are parties like that.
Even looking at some movies like School Days, going back to School Days, you have the light versus dark skin. All that, like, no. I've never been privy to seeing like that kind of stuff on campus.
I don't think there's no accuracy at all because I don't think the media as a whole cares too much to even portray them. And if there is a portrayal, they don't care enough to have a accurate depiction of HBCUs. There's not even much of an accurate depiction of all black people as a whole. So for them to get our schools right and not to get us right, that'd be too much for them. Too much right.
I think sometimes it varies from the perspective. I think Spike Lee did an accurate job, and I think the producers and writers of Different World did a great job, but sometimes I feel like in the news, they give it a negative light, and they put schools in a negative light, especially with the whole FAMU situation, and like schools looting accreditation, and it's just, now I think they've started off here, but I think as the years have progressed, the reputation has been like really, it's been kind of demolished by the media.
I think they are accurate. they don't focus on the educational piece, so it's accurate. They chose a piece, and I think that's why a lot of people come here, is to do what they saw in the movie or the TV and fulfill that. Not all, but I think a lot of people come here for that reason.
I don't think I've really seen any really positive portrayals of HBCU schools since after A Different World ended.
An experience at a historically black college is too vast to narrow down to a 120-minute movie or a 30-minute segment on a reality series. Because, I mean, editing, I mean, that's one thing. And then storyline. Like if you take Stomp the Yard, for instance, Stomp the Yard was about these opposing fraternities. One wanted to win the competition, the other one wanted to beat them in the competition, and there was a little love story mixed in between. But it didn't deal very much with real campus life for everyone because you were only dealing with Greek life.
They one-sided. The media, I mean, the media always, in everything they do, they always send to one side things. They get this part, but they forget the whole side.
When you do see shows, you know, reality shows like College Hill on BET, things like that, it kind of misrepresents black institutions as just party schools and as if they're not really working and developing their mind when they really are.
A reality series is not a full picture because we all know that a reality series, in order for it to have the huge addictive effect on the demographic it's targeting, it has to be drama. So they're gonna recruit the biggest clowns on campus that they can find.
A lot of the things they show is the negative on Morehouse, or someone just got shot here or there, or a lot of robberies, or an HBCU scandal, like most schools. But however, there's a lot of good in HBCUs that I feel are ignored by mass media.
I read an article from the New York Times. I forget the reporter's name, but it was speaking on why HBCUs are obsolete now. And reading it, I was kind of like, wow, he's missing a lot of stuff. He says, oh, they don't teach you about the real world. They don't. That's a common argument. They don't teach you about the real world. It's nothing but partying. And then we broke. They portray us as broke. So then I did my research, and I came with this other article. The president of Hampton University, he responded to the article, and he was responding to the reporter that you were completely false in your findings because we're doing all these great things. He was telling about majority of African Americans that do go to college go to HBCUs. I believe it's around 75%. The black males that go to college, 89% of black males, I believe, don't quote me on that, that graduate college graduate from HBCUs. I know our sister institution, Spelman, they have one of the highest rates to medical school for black female, for African American females. So it's a lot of great stuff that goes along. So when people publish stuff like that and take the image of HBCUs, I mean, they're doing a dishonor, man. It's a disgrace, and they need to start getting the whole picture of the HBCU experience because that's what they're lacking.
To understand, truly understand an HBCU and why those of us who have attended feel the way we do, you need to experience it and spend maybe just a little bit more time learning and with an open mind.
You know, the media is pretty ignorant when it comes to the history of any HBCU school. Okay, the main thing is you need to understand this. There was a time in history where you could not learn because of your skin color. Now for a minute, everybody needs to stop and think about it for a minute. I'm telling you, you cannot learn a thing. I don't want you to even learn how to read because you're black. So for all of us to come together and in secret try to build institutions to better ourselves, but then 120 years later, the media is talking about these institutions like this, trying to degrade them, I think everybody really needs a quick little history check, you know? I mean, slavery wasn't really that long ago. Martin Luther King hasn't really been dead that long.